What's up, everyone? Welcome back to After the Storm. This is the Canes game review for game number 39 of the season, a 4-3 overtime win for the Carolina Hurricanes. In introing this one, Frederik Andersen gets the start against Laurent Brossoit. Bear remains scratched in favor of Brendan Smith. And Teravainen was yet another game time decision. He ended up playing in this one. He was also very effective. Looks like the hit from Barclay Goodrow back in the New York matchup isn't affecting him too much. And in kicking off what was a pretty boring first period here, I thought Brossoit was pretty sharp early on. And in what would be probably the biggest chance of the period coming for the Carolina Hurricanes, especially what was again, as I mentioned, kind of a boring, very quiet first period. Chandler Stevenson goes to the box for holding. Carolina on the first power play, and on this power play, Svechnikov hits the post. Vegas kills the penalty. Jarvis would take a hooking penalty late in the period, and the period would end 0-0. Vegas has 10 seconds of power play time to open up the second. Opening up this second period, Carolina kills off that penalty. Aho with a great chance driving the net. Brossoit, who I thought was very, very good for Vegas in this game, comes up with a big stop. And off a nifty little feed from Jordan Staal, exerting some patience, finds Niederreiter. His first shot goes, rebound, tucks it past Brossoit on this play. A good drive in the net goal. A lot of chaos in front of the net leads to this one. Gets his 12th of the season, and the Canes have a 1-0 lead. Then Svechnikov comes off the bench. Looks like a fortunate bounce off of... I'm not sure. There was a couple instances in this game where there was a fortunate bounce off a ref or something strange happening, but on this one, Svechnikov right off the bench, grabs the puck, 2-on-1 with Trocheck. A slick feed from Svechnikov over to Troch. He gets it past Brossoit. It is 2-0 Carolina. Stepan takes a penalty. Vegas to their second power play of the game. Carolina kills this one off as well. Shortly after the penalty gets killed off, Theodore from the point hits the post. Below the goal line, a power forward type move from Keegan Colasar. He shakes off Brendan Smith, feeds Nolan Patrick. Nolan Patrick goes through. It looks like there's maybe a little bit of goaltender interference on this play. Looks like, I'm not sure exactly. I believe it was Brett Howden. Ended up getting some contact with Frederik Andersen. Freddie a little bit disabled in being able to play over, try to make that save. Patrick slides it past him. It's 2-1. Carolina challenges for goaltender interference, but it is ruled that, and I thought this was a perfectly valid ruling, that on that play, Cole is, battling with Howden towards the net. I'm not sure. They kind of said it was the stick and everything. Kind of upends Howden into Anderson. This one's kind of fine. We complain a lot about goaltender interference around this league, and I thought this one was pretty much the right call. So Vegas heads to their third power play of the game, now down just one goal. And we end this one much like we ended the first period. Vegas with 15 additional seconds of power play time entering the third period. Carolina kills off the remainder of that penalty to open up the third. And Pietrangelo with a high stick on Jordan Staal, 4-minute double minor, Carolina to the power play. Teravainen gets a slashing call that kind of looks like a tripping call, that kind of looks like a makeup for... Again, I didn't see any blood on Staal or anything like that on this play, so I'm not exactly sure why it got called a 4-minute double minor, but it looks like they kind of even it up that way, so we had some 4-on-4 hockey. Aho steals the puck on this play, gets through. Brossoit makes a nice save on him. The 2-minute minor to Teravainen expires. Canes back to the power play. But Vegas would kill this off. And a little bit of indecisiveness from Frederik Andersen. Looks like he wants to come out and play the puck, but honestly doesn't think he has enough time. And maybe if he had committed to it, he would have had enough time. But nonetheless, you unmark in on a little bit of a breakaway, and Freddie stays with him the entire way. Big save here at this point in the game. And then the goaltenders would trade off some saves. The first one, Brossoit on Svechnikov. And then down the other way, Chandler Stevenson gets stopped by Frederik Andersen. Dylan Coughlin trips up Nino Niederreiter. Canes back to the power play. And right off the draw on this one, back to Tony DeAngelo. He rips a wrist shot. It is tipped by Sebastian Aho into the net. It is 3-1 Carolina. Right after, almost, as the momentum is completely swinging Carolina's way, Here, Pietrangelo gets bodied by Steven Lorentz. I can recall earlier in the season he did this to, I believe, to Rasmus Sandin. Actually, it might have been TJ Brody. I cannot remember the Leafs defenseman who this was. But Steven Lorentz, bodies Pietrangelo pretty hard. Pietrangelo on the way down gets his stick up, high sticks Lorentz. Lorentz doesn't really get a great chance off. Pietrangelo to the box. Vegas kills this one off. And this is where Vegas started, getting a little bit of momentum back into their game. Shea Theodore with almost like a sort of a change up of a shot. It wasn't really full speed. It wasn't a hard wrister. And also ends up hitting a player in front of the net. Brett Howden on the way through. It gets past Fredrik Andersen. It is 3-2. And shortly after, Nick Hague coming in from the blue line rips a shot past Fredrik Andersen. It's 3-3. And at the end of the period, Nietzsche's deking through, almost gets a goal here. This close, deked through, but 3 Vegas Golden Knights got a great shot off. But that does it for regulation. We're tied 3-3. We head to overtime. And the Carolina Hurricanes have not headed to a shootout at all this season, so this might be the first time we see it. Anderson in the overtime session, huge first stop here on Nick Waugh. Coming in, just stayed big, stayed with the shooter. Huge save here. Nietzsche's playing the triangle of the player. If you're not unaware where the triangle is, it's the stick and the feet of a opposing player, and Nietzsche's just perfectly around William Karlsson, gets a chance, but Brossoit makes the save. Anderson's second huge save in this one on Shea Theodore, coming in on yet another 2-on-1, this time on the opposite side, stays big just like on the Waugh chance, makes a huge save. And then a weird play here on the game-winning goal that I kind of wanted to go over because I saw a lot of people on Twitter at the time it happened where they were blaming Pietrangelo a little bit on this one. And, there's certainly blame to go on Pietrangelo here. And if you take a review of it, and if you go back and look at the highlights of this game, you can clearly see how I believe Nick Waugh was supposed to, swing out the other way on this play, and Nick Waugh just kind of stands around and doesn't really do anything on this one. So Pietrangelo flips a pass. Svechnikov reads it all the way, intercepts it. Great job to get that puck just slightly back. Great little saucer pass to Sebastian Aho. Aho comes in, slides it through the 5-hole of Laurent Brossoit. The Canes win 4-3 in overtime. So let's get on some player analysis in what was yet another huge victory for the Carolina Hurricanes. The good in this game, there was a lot. I thought Tony DeAngelo had probably his best defensive performance of the season. He blocked a lot of 2-on-1 chances and passes in this one. And as how good he's been offensively, if he can be even half of that defensively, we really got something here. And he has been defensively getting much, much better. Aho, of course, 2 goals in this one, huge goals. When the game is on the line, this guy turns it to another gear. Svechnikov in this one, all over the place, moving his feet. He's probably, just watching him skate has just been crazy this season. He was a little bit, in the last couple seasons, you felt like his skating could just use so much more, and he could be so much better if he just gets that skating in line. And this season, man, he's just wheeling around the ice. And Nino Niederreiter, probably his most effective game of the season, gets a goal. He's been excellent on that line with Stahl, just hopefully, or actually I should say because they switched him up. But he's just been so good. Wherever he plays in the lineup, he's the plug-and-play piece in this lineup right now. No matter where you put him, if it's first line, second line, third line, or even fourth line, this guy gets it done. This offseason is going to be very interesting because you have a player here in Nino Niederreiter who is 100%, he's great, right? He's fantastic, and you have 2 big decisions along with other restricted free agents you have to deal with here, with 2 unrestricted free agents between himself and Vincent Trocheck. A tough decision has to be made here because there's potential that I wouldn't say potential neither one gets signed, but I would say there's a very good chance that just one of them gets signed this offseason, and Nino is making his case that it should be him. And I say this in a game where Vincent Trocheck scored and was pretty damn effective. I don't envy the decision of management this offseason. Average players, I had none. I thought everybody had a great game in this one. Even despite the score, despite the late collapse. I don't think anybody was particularly bad either, so I had nobody in that category. And for a Vegas player I want to highlight in this one, Nolan Patrick, not just for The goal he got in this game, I thought he was pretty effective as a forward for Vegas. I thought probably outside of Stevenson, the most effective forward for the Golden Knights in this one. But this is a guy who got traded from Philadelphia this past offseason in a 3-way trade that sent Cody Glass to Nashville, and I'm not even sure what the hell ended up in Philly. Yeah, I really don't know. Philly sucks. Hey, that's a whole different story. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, like Nolan Patrick's story is a guy who missed all of last season due to a horrible concussion and migraine disorder. Man, just to be able to not be able to go out in light and deal with, wearing sunglasses all the time. This guy had it really rough, and it's really awesome to see him back and playing in this league because he's a former second overall pick. This guy isn't bad at hockey. He's got a lot of upside. He's just unfortunately had a lot of injury issues early on in his career. So anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it for this episode. Hit that like button down below if you liked today's episode. Hit the subscribe button if you want more kind of Canes content here on the channel. There's a ton of other stuff on the channel, gaming included. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one Thursday against the Ottawa Senators.